Hi, welcome to my video tutorial on installing Spacemacs on Windows. I've been a long time user of Notepad++. I think it's great. It's a really good tool. But I wanted to move to something a little bit more keyboard driven to save my hands from the mouse. After some research, it came down to two choices, either Vim or Emacs. I tried both. I preferred Emacs. But Emacs is very complex. There's a lot of configurations to get up to spec. So I was searching for something that sort of gave me a good baseline to work from, seeing as I've never used it before. After some research, I found Spacemacs, which looks really good. So we're going to go along with that. So Spacemacs is basically a variant of Emacs. It's got a great community. It's got really good documentation, and they've done a really good job. And from the base install of Emacs to Spacemacs is second to none. So we're going to go ahead with that. So the first thing you need to do is we need to download Emacs. So if we just search for Emacs, and you want to go to GNU.org, and once you're there, you need to head over to the release, and the latest stable release is 24.5. This version is compatible with Spacemacs, so we're going to go ahead and obtain that. And at the top you'll see you'll have a link for a nearby mirror, so we click that. Okay, so if we scroll down, you'll find a Windows directory, and if we scroll down, the one that we want is actually Emacs 24.5 bin i686 Mig32 .zip. We want to download this. Now, if you're running 64-bit, there is a 64-bit version or fork of Emacs, but I'm just going to go ahead and install the 32-bit. That's not a problem. Okay, so I've actually downloaded that. It's literally a zip file. You extract it. Now there's no install for Emacs. There's no exe. You click on it, you get a wizard. It's literally you just extract it and run it. The actual executable is under the bin folder. So if you go there and actually just run, double click on run emacs.exe, that will run Emacs. That's pretty much it. But we don't want it on our desktop. That's a silly place to have it. So let's move it to its rightful home, which is going to be C program files x86. As it's a 32-bit binary, I'm going to install it into program files x86. So I'm just going to cut that folder and paste it in there. Great, and then I'm going to go ahead and rename that to Emacs. Go in there, go into the bin folder, right click, run Emacs, and create a shortcut to it. Alright, so let's rename that shortcut as well, GNU Emacs. That's it. Done. Now, we're in a position to install Spacemacs. So if we head over to spacemacs.org. Okay, so one thing about Emacs or Vim in general is it's an open source and it's very Linux based, so the community, mind you. So you know, as part of this, when I hit the snag, I actually installed Spacemacs on my Windows 7 machine, but I hit some issues. I've done some searches, and a lot of the advice was based on Linux, and not so much for Windows, which is a shame. Which has led me to run through this tutorial for you. So if we click on install, you'll actually just get this. So your normal average Windows user will be like, what's that? Okay, nothing's downloading. What does that mean? Is that a website I go to? Okay, so basically this is a command you need to run in a separate piece of software, which is called Git. And Git is a source control system for programmers or anyone that wants to do some sort of source control on data files. And it's very popular, it's very heavily used, especially in the open source community, but elsewhere as well. So in order to actually install this, we need to install the Git client. Okay, you can do that. Just head over to Git official site, and what you want to do is download the Windows client. As you can see here, I've actually already downloaded that, and I actually have it installed already, but I'll run through the install if it lets me. Hopefully it doesn't say, do you want to uninstall? It might do. Let's see. Okay, that's good. Alright, okay, so you get some options. Windows Explorer integration, that sounds good. Associate Git files, yes. Associate SSLs with Bash, yes. I don't want to mess with any fonts, but you can tick that if you want that. Next, use Git from Bash, no. Use Git from the Windows command prompts, yeah, we want to keep things Windows, that's fine. Okay, checkout style, checkout Windows style, yeah. That's the option I selected, and next I selected the use Windows default console, and I didn't enable that. That's just experimental and I didn't want that. And that's basically it, and it's next then install. But I'm not going to do that since it's already installed. Okay, so once you have Git installed and you have your Emacs installed, you're now in the position again to think about installing Spacemacs. Alright, so before we actually do this, let's head over to their GitHub homepage, which is where they host all of their code and whatnot. So they've got a little banner on the left called Fault Me. I'm just going to go there. On their README, under the Windows section, they're actually advising you to create an environment variable named home, pointing to C user's username. I guess on Linux or any Linux flavor, it's pretty consistent. On Windows, it can be argued it's in multiple places. Okay, so C users is one. You've got document settings. You've got app data. It's a little bit of a jungle. I feel the best place for this is app data, because that's actually where the data folder for your account is held. If you open a command prompt and type set, Windows will list all your environment variables on your machine, and you'll notice you'll have a where is it? An app data one. I think it's at the top. Yeah, you have an app data one pointing to a home directory. So this is where we want to install it. But if you actually tried to go there on your machine, the app data folder is actually hidden by default, so you won't see it. You can configure Explorer to show hidden files, but I don't recommend that. But you can get to it pretty easily actually. You can just type start in the command prompt, %app data %, and that will bring you there. Okay, so we actually want to install it in this location. So I'm just going to copy that path, and I'm just going to put that in Notepad for now. Head back to the Spacemacs page, and they have a copy to clipboard button, so just click that and that will copy the git command that we need to run. Next we just need to open a command prompt, and before we run it we want to change this, and we want to clone it to here. Interesting. Right, that was my mistake. Actually, what you need to do is same path, but you just want to put dot Emacs. Okay. Yeah. Dot D. Alright, so once you have that, GitHub will start doing its magic. So at the moment it's downloading all the software essentially for Spacemacs and placing it into that directory. Alright, done. So what we do, we can just head over to that directory now. So we can just do start %app data, and you'll see I have my Emacs directory and Spacemacs. Okay, so that's the Spacemacs side of things. So now that we have that, we're actually in position to launch Emacs. So what I expect to happen is you'll get some errors complaining it cannot download such and such over SSL, which is secure connection. So let's have a look what it does. Okay, so this is Emacs, and you can see here we have an error, could not create connection to melfa.org 443. So basically it's trying to connect to this site over HTTPS, which is secure encryption, but for some reason you can't do it. And if you actually look on the Spacemacs GitHub page, they actually have, I think it actually might be on their main page. If you go over to FAQ, Windows section, yeah, right, yeah. Why are the packages unavailable? Check if your Emacs has HTTPS capabilities. Alright, let's run that. Okay, so let's run this command. So this is not an Emacs tutorial by any stretch of the imagination. But basically it's saying I need to run this command, and by doing this, seeing as you're researching this, you're going to learn all this sort of stuff. But M basically means alt, so alt and colon, so I want to go ahead and do that. I'm already in there, so let's run this command, GNUTLS, oops, alright, and then hit enter. Okay, you see here it returns nil. So if this returns nil, you need to install the GNU TLS DLL file. That's supposed to be DLL file. Okay, and it points you to a home page. Okay, so let's close Emacs. Alright, so we need to install these DLLs somehow. But at this point, everything you search online is 99.9% of it is Linux commands and whatnot, and nothing on Windows. So after I figured this out on my other machine, I figured it was worthwhile sharing it with you guys. Okay, so basically what we need to do is download the DLLs for GNU TLS. So that's available on this link here on SourceForge. Okay, so what we actually want to do is download this GNU GNU TLS 3.3.11.32. That's the binary we want. So we download that, and I've actually done that already, and I have it here. So let's extract that. So once you'll notice, if we go back to the FAQ, it really doesn't give you any sort of indication where you need to put this stuff, which is really annoying. And if you continue to read this page, if you just go, just close that, go back to the original page. Alright, that's just a download yet. After I researched this, there's a bunch of stuff they were doing, downloading certificates and all sorts of stuff that, you know, you really don't want to really get into. But it's actually pretty simple once I figured it out. So, yeah, so this is my extracted file. So after I go in here, now where you need to put this, you need to actually install these files into your Emacs directory in your program files x86 Emacs. Literally copy and paste that in there. It's going to ask if you want to replace any files. Yes. There you go. Alright. So those are your DLLs, and hopefully that should fix the problem. Let's see. And there you have it. Emacs is now installed. It's asking me what my preferred style is. I'm going to go ahead and say Emacs. And it says, what distribution of Spacemacs would you like to start with? I'm going to start with Spacemacs. And right then it's going to go download all it needs to download, compile all it needs to compile. Interestingly, I think on their GitHub homepage, if I can get to it, if you go there, I think it was in here, Windows, yeah, it wasn't quite here. Somewhere in their homepage there was recommending, oh, here you go. So you might have an issue regarding downloading packages. Please disable HTTPS. Now, when anyone says to disable anything secure, alarm bells should ring. That's a hack, and that's not a good solution to this problem. So I didn't want to do that. So without disabling the secure connection, this is how you do it. So it's still doing its thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause. And there you have it. Installation is finished, and I'm at the home page. I hope this is useful, and thanks for watching.